it finished, and this is how it leaves the Group F table. It could have been a very different picture for United, but they remained top. Villarreal also moved to 7 points. Confirmation of the results tonight, and a reminder that the next matches take place in 3 weeks' time when United travel to Villarreal. And that will be our live match here on RTE2 in the early kickoff at 5:45. Atalanta go to Young Boys in Bern on the same day. Well, our panel anticipated goals, and that's exactly what we got, Liam. And also, Manchester United have made a habit of comebacks, which we pointed out at the start of the programme. It's happened once again. They hung on in there, and thanks to Ronaldo, they got the draw.
Yeah, I think Dara said to the rescue, and it was a real rescue job because United were very, very poor tonight. Maguire and Bailly at the back were all over the place. Zapata had them chasing shadows, slow, playing in a line. One ball was taking them out of it. Really, really poor from United. And you have to say that there's no identity about this Man United side. You don't know how they're going to line up, how they're going to play. Like when Klopp went into Liverpool, it was 4-3-3. Everybody knew what their job was. United's not like that. When Tuchel went into Chelsea, that's what he gave to the Chelsea team: structure, organisation. I'm afraid Ollie's been there 3 years, and you just don't know what you're going to get from Man United. And he played Pogba from the start. I thought that was a terrible decision, and that nearly let them down. And it really was a rescue job from Ronaldo again. Yeah,
we spoke, Richie, before the match as to the pros and cons of Ronaldo being selected. But surely there can't be any doubt after tonight that without Ronaldo, probably Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would have lost this job quite a while ago.
Without his goals, I assume... I was about to say I assume he'd be gone by now, but I don't know what's in the mind of the United's hierarchy. I don't know what they have to see from this team or from this manager. I don't know how long they have to leave it for them to make a view that maybe Solskjaer isn't going to take this team where they want to go. Because so far there's obviously been no change. We are probably going to hear Solskjaer hit all the usual talking points. United DNA, we never give up. You know, we keep going till the end. We always believed, made a couple of positive changes. And then he'll roll on to next weekend and see how they get on. But like Liam said, there's no sense of who they are or what they're about. There's no identity, there's no plan. The formations change. They stumble from one idea to the next and then declare themselves they've turned the corner. We keep using the phrases "we paper over the cracks," which is again what they did tonight. Moment of real brilliance up front for the 2 goals. But how many times did United look vulnerable at the back, all over the shop in midfield?
In the normal scheme of things, are we saying that this would be a good result? An away point in Italy against reasonable opposition isn't a bad result. But on this occasion, it's the performance that concerns people and the way United were set up tonight. I
think if you looked at all the performances of the 4 Champions League games so far, opening night against Young Boys, we were here watching them. They were really bad and got the result they deserved. Villarreal at home, they were really bad. They didn't get the result they deserved. They got the one that they wanted. Ronaldo got them out of it that night as well. They didn't deserve the 3 points there. So they've rode their luck massively, and all the frailties that are so obvious throughout that team are covered up by clinical finishing when they most need it.
Actually, Peter, all their performances, they could have ended up with 0 points if it wasn't for Ronaldo. You know, and Portugal have set up their team to give him the chance just to stay up there and score goals for them. And he's taken Portugal to places that, you know, they'd never been before. They won the Euros, didn't they? I know he got injured during it, but he really is a phenomenon. And the second goal again tonight, it's like magnificent. There's just no words to describe how this guy finishes.
No, it's extraordinary, isn't it? And 36 years of age, one of the oldest players on the pitch.
Well, he doesn't look 36, does he?
No,
he looks like 26. He looks like he's 26. And but you have a player like that, but yet there's no structure around him. It's hit and miss with Solskjaer. He doesn't have a plan, I don't think.
A lot of people have been very forgiving and understanding of Solskjaer. He is a very popular guy, obviously, in Manchester United because of his history at the club.
Yeah, and rightly so. And rightly so, Peter. Yeah.
But where do you draw the line then? You know, I'm sure the board don't have any great loyalty to his past.
No, they'll look after him as well. If he loses his job, they'll look after him. But they must be looking at things the way we look at things. The Manchester United fans must be looking at things and say, are we really going to win the Champions League? with the way we're playing, with the way this team is structured? Are we going to win the Premier League? And let's face it, that's what Man United's all about. It's those two competitions. And I think they'd have to make the judgment that they're not going to do it.
So you asked there, sorry, Peter, about you mentioned, is there a plan? Like in the last couple of minutes, they needed obviously a goal from somewhere. And the two players they brought on, Van der Beek, who's just been missing since they signed him a year and a half ago, and Sancho, who they've pursued for a couple of years, very publicly, briefing the media all the way along about how keen they were to get him. You know, he was the missing link up front, brilliant young talent, spent 85 million euros on him. And he hasn't featured a hell of a lot. Now, I think a lot of that is to do with the signing of Ronaldo a couple of weeks later and the impact of that. And obviously Ronaldo plays, so others can't. But, where's the joined-up thinking and spending 2 years and all that money on Sancho? So
did those substitutions smell of desperation to you?
Well, listen, 2 minutes to go. Yes, you put everyone on that you can. But again, it's like Liam said, it's when you think of United now, what do you think of? What's the pattern of play or the formation or the structure or whatever that you think most of, that they've worked on and they produce consistently? It's all a bit scattered and haphazard and just from game to game.
The transfer policy seems to be, oh, he's a very good player, we'll buy him. Not he's a very good player and we're going to put him in this position and he's going to play there and he's going to improve the team. So you've got 130 million spent on those two players that Richie's mentioned.
Yeah.
And they're not in the team. And you think they would have addressed that, spent that money by addressing their frailties in midfield.
And the question is often posed.
McTominay is a good lad, he runs around, he's strong, but he's not quality, he has no quality on the ball. Fred has no quality on the ball. He played Pogba there. Pogba's a waste of time in that position.
Yeah, the question would often be posed, Liam, as to how many of those Manchester United players would threaten for a place at Liverpool at the moment, or indeed at Chelsea or Manchester City?
In midfield, none, I shouldn't think. The central midfield, the three I mentioned, Fred, McTominay, Pogba, none. So you think they would have spent that money on that position? That's been quite obvious for the last two and a half seasons, that they needed good players in there, real good players. And I know I'm going back years, but Roy Keane, Paul Scholes,
They don't have players of that calibre at the moment.
No, they're out there, but you've got to go and find them. Not spend the money on guys who are very good, but they're not playing in the team. You've got Greenwood, you've got Rashford, so you buy Sancho. It doesn't make sense to me. And that's what, I don't know. Maybe there's a hierarchy at Old Trafford that are buying the players and Ollie's not buying them. I don't know.
Okay,
it's not right anyway, Peter.
No, it certainly isn't right. And the problems remain at the back and in midfield. They've been identified for a long time. I think we've established tonight that they haven't been rectified. Let's look back at some of the stuff from that second half, Richie. And first of all, Zapata, if anybody deserved a goal,
he was great. He gave such a strong performance up front. United at times couldn't handle him at all. Bailly here just switches off, is unaware of his run behind him. It's good officiating. The linesman doesn't put his flag up until the phase of play is over, and you can see here Maguire just does keep him on. He's putting his hand up claiming offside, as you would expect. A wild lunge in the box. He's fortunate, obviously, Zapata stayed on his feet, or he'd been red carded for that. And a decent finish. Unfortunate that we had to wait so long for VAR, but the right outcome was arrived at, which is what you want from the officials. So well played them, and at this point they deserve the lead, and he deserved to be in the winning team the way he played tonight. He was superb.
He certainly was. And the home supporters, I'm sure they thought they had the points in the bag, Liam, but as we said, probably desperation stakes on United's part, and nobody was trying harder in the end than Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, Solskjaer threw everybody on. Van der Beek, he threw Sancho on, and they were involved in this. This is Ronaldo trying to skip across the box, and it went to Greenwood. I don't think he actually meant this flick to Ronaldo, but bang, I thought his volley was great against Spurs, but that's equally as good. He has to find that far side, low and hard. What a goal.
All the more impressive that it's in the injury time when players are fatigued, or you've given everything, and you need the technique and the precision and the accuracy and power, everything to be absolutely perfect. And yet again, in the final moments of a game, he's able to do it.
And the confidence and the belief to get it right, which he has done pretty much throughout his career, and he's done it once again for Manchester United. Yeah, the question is, does Solskjaer have time to see through all those changes that Ronaldo was talking about there, but doing his best to avoid criticising his teammates, and he can understand that. Let's look back at, Atalanta did really well, and Zapata might have had another one or two, Liam, because he had the best of the chances in the second half.
Yeah, as I say, you showed in the first half he had chances. This was a good header, not very far over the bar, but they're not able to handle him. Here he goes again. United just switch off, let him, nobody closes him down. Look at Harry Maguire, you know, he's 20 yards from him, he's more or less saying, shoot. And, you know, it's a good save from De Gea there, otherwise that ball's in the back of the net. I thought he was the outstanding, I think Ray said it, the standout player tonight, apart from
Cristiano Ronaldo.
the number 7 in the Manchester United team.
Yeah, OK, as far as United were concerned, there wasn't a whole lot to report in that second half, Richie, was there?
No, there wasn't, and again, that's a damning thing about this squad and this team with so many attacking players of real quality. This is in the early stages of the second half. Ronaldo and Fernandes linked up to try and create an opportunity, but it was blocked. Ball in the box here from Shaw, finds its way to, I think, Wan-Bissaka at the back stick. Tries to get a shot away, but doesn't. It's blocked as well. So it's precious little to go on. Again, if you're adding to the conversation here as to what is United about, how are they creating opportunities on a consistent basis? And there isn't. And Van de Beek here in injury time. So really fortunate manager, that fella there. He's yet again, his players have gotten him out of it.
Yeah. I know you said to me, Peter, about the midfield. They wouldn't get in the top teams like Manchester City, Liverpool. But a lot of their front players would. You know, they have tremendous attacking talent. And it's up to Solskjaer and whoever works with them to get the rest right. Like, the defence is all over the place and the midfield's not good enough. No. But you have the attacking players to win games, and they've shown it again tonight.
Yeah, and speaking of the midfield, Liam, I mean, we wondered at half-time if Pogba might be hooked by some other manager, but they didn't keep him on too long in the second half.
No,
I mean,
he deservedly got taken off. You know, he was sloppy. He started off the game quite well, but you never know whether he's going to keep his concentration and keep his discipline. He kept the ball quite well. This was in the first 5-10 minutes. But then reverted to type, giving the ball away. Sloppy on it here. Actually does well there. He's sloppy on a few occasions. This is a chance he made for Ronaldo. That was the best of him. This was the worst of him. You know, trying to dribble on the edge of his own box. And Zapata should have scored. The bye helped him out helped Pogba out of a real situation there. This is another sloppy pass to Rashford. They're on the break. Again, gives it away. I just don't think he can play that position. I don't think he should be in the team. I think he's a headache for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And, well, I don't know. It looks like the saga is going to continue to the end of the season. Is he going to sign his new contract? But I wouldn't want to sign him up. I'd let him go.
Yeah, finally for the moment, Richie?
I think I'd be the same. I think in the scenario that the club are in and the relatively precarious position the manager is in, he needs to be playing players that there's no question about the commitment or their willingness to play and give their all. And you would have thought with Pogba, the way he let his teammates down against Liverpool by being sent off and the suspension, he's not going to play again for United for a while. So you would assume tonight's the night that he was going to really make it up to everyone and show what he's there to bring to the party, and he massively disappointed. I wouldn't be going out of my way to keep him beyond this season at all if I was United.
OK, we heard a brief interview there with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Richie, what did you think of what he said?
He said what we expected. Don't give up. We don't give in. We made the chances that worked. He praised the character of the players, which I've heard him do loads of times, but I don't think in the main many people are questioning the character of most of the players. I think Pogba's personality would infuriate you. He seems to pick and choose when he tries to apply himself, but there are bigger questions there for that manager to address. They weren't put to him there in that interview, but they'll rumble on again next week.
Yeah. He actually said the changes he made worked.
I wonder which ones he meant.
Pogba worked. Bye worked.
Is he talking maybe about the substitutions? Because they scored late on, so therefore everything that went before that justified it. Like a manager who just tries to looks through his own lens at the match and justify every decision he makes. So I think he was referring maybe to the substitutions. But
yeah, possibly. But
he'll try and put a positive spin on it, Liam, needless to say. But I mean, what are we going to expect when they face Manchester City at the weekend? Because that's a massive game.
Well, you know, if they play like they did tonight defensively, they're going to lose. You know, that's quite obvious. They have a lot of attacking options. City lost against Crystal Palace at the weekend, so not everything's perfect there. With the players United have up front, they're always capable of scoring, but I just don't think they can keep a clean sheet at the back. So, to go back to his interview again, for him to say things worked, they didn't. You know, Ronaldo rescued the situation once again.
Yeah, that's for sure.